Chapter 1. Discovery. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe and drop a like. The morning sun cast long shadows across the Tesla Fremont factory floor as construction worker Marcus Rodriguez carefully removed another section of the old concrete wall. The renovation project had been routine until his sledgehammer struck something unexpected, a hollow sound that shouldn't have been there. "Hey, Jake," Marcus called to his supervisor. "There's something weird here." Jake Thompson walked over, his hard hat slightly askew from the morning's work. He pressed his ear against the wall and knocked gently. The hollow echo confirmed Marcus's discovery. The wall section they were renovating dated back to the building's original construction in the 1980s, when it had served as a General Motors facility before Tesla's acquisition. "Looks like there's a space behind here," Jake said, pulling out his phone to call the site manager. "We better check this out before we continue." Marcus wiped the concrete dust from his hands and peered closer at the wall. The section they'd been working on was part of the factory's oldest wing, scheduled for complete modernization. What had started as a simple infrastructure upgrade was turning into something much more intriguing. Within an hour, the Tesla engineering team had arrived. Sarah Chun, the facility's chief engineer, supervised as they carefully created a small opening in the wall. Her flashlight beam revealed a narrow cavity containing a single yellowed envelope. The space was precisely constructed, as if someone had planned this hiding place with mathematical precision. The envelope was pristine despite its age, protected by the dry air within the wall cavity. On its surface, elegant handwriting spelled out, "Do not open until 2029, and below it, a name that made everyone freeze: Elon Musk. The handwriting was distinctly youthful, with the careful precision of someone still learning to form letters properly. The paper itself appeared to be high-quality stationery, yellowed with age but still intact. News of the discovery spread through the factory like wildfire. Workers abandoned their stations to catch a glimpse of the mysterious find. Within hours, Tesla's communications team was fielding calls from reporters worldwide. Social media exploded with theories and speculation. The mysterious envelope, hidden in a wall for decades, had captured the imagination of millions. Security was immediately increased around the factory as news vans began arriving. The story seemed too incredible to be real, yet there it was, physical evidence of what appeared to be an impossible prediction from the past. Chapter 2. The Childhood Secret. The envelope sat unopened in Tesla's executive conference room, surrounded by lawyers, engineers, and company executives. The mahogany table reflected the fluorescent lights as everyone waited in tense silence. Outside, news helicopters circled the facility while security guards kept reporters at bay. Musk himself arrived via private jet from a SpaceX launch in Florida, his expression unreadable as he stared at the handwriting he recognized as his own from decades past. The envelope felt surprisingly light in his hands, yet carried the weight of decades of mystery. "I remember this," he said quietly, picking up the envelope with careful hands. "I was 12 years old when I wrote this. My family had just moved to Canada, and I spent a lot of time thinking about the future." The room fell silent as he opened the aged paper with surgical precision. Inside was a single sheet covered in a child's careful handwriting, complete with small drawings in the margins. Musk read silently at first, his eyes moving down the page with growing intensity. His face showed a mixture of nostalgia and bewilderment. "It's a list," he announced, his voice carrying a note of wonder. "Things I wanted to accomplish when I grew up. But it's more detailed than I remember writing." He began reading aloud. "Build rockets that can reach Mars and make humans a multi-planetary species. Create cars that don't need gasoline and can drive themselves. Make the internet available everywhere in the world from space. Help people think with computers connected to their brains." The room buzzed with amazement. The 12-year-old boy had essentially predicted his own future accomplishments with SpaceX, Tesla, Starlink, and Neuralink with startling accuracy. Some executives exchanged glances, wondering if this could possibly be authentic. Dr. Jennifer Walsh, Tesla's head of research, leaned forward. "The level of detail is remarkable for a child that age. These aren't just simple dreams, they're almost like business plans." But then Musk's voice changed, becoming quieter, more serious as he reached the bottom of the page. "There's one more item," he said, looking up at the assembled group. His hands trembled slightly as he read. "In 2030, I will protect humanity from the great danger that's coming. The signs will appear in the late 2020s, and people won't believe it at first. Chapter 3. Encrypted Clues. Dr. Amanda Foster, Tesla's head of cybersecurity, noticed the strange symbols first. In the corner of the letter, barely visible unless examined closely, were small drawings that looked like a child's doodles but had an oddly systematic quality. She had been documenting every aspect of the letter when the patterns caught her attention. These aren't random, she told the team the next day, projecting enlarged images of the symbols onto the conference room's 4K display. There's definitely a mathematical relationship between these marks. The symbols consisted of circles, triangles, and lines in various configurations, some filled in, others just outlines. Dr. Foster had run them through multiple cryptographic analysis programs overnight, consulting with specialists at MIT and Stanford. Her background in childhood cognitive development provided the crucial insight that others had missed. Children often create their own codes when they feel the need for secrecy, she explained to the fascinated team. But this system is remarkably sophisticated for a 12-year-old. It shows understanding of positional notation and even basic encryption principles. The team worked in shifts around the clock, approaching the symbols from every angle. Linguists analyzed them for language patterns. Mathematicians looked for numerical relationships. Child psychologists offered insights into how a young mind might construct such a system. Working through 3 consecutive nights, Dr. Foster and her team gradually decoded the symbols. Each one represented a letter or number, but the system was more complex than simple substitution. Young Elon had created positional variables, mathematical functions, and even incorporated prime numbers into his cipher. The breakthrough came when Dr. Foster realized that the symbols needed to be read in a spiral pattern rather than left to right. This insight unlocked the entire message in minutes. When they finally cracked the code, the symbols revealed precise geographical coordinates that pointed to a location within the factory itself. But there was more, additional numbers that appeared to be measurements and what looked like construction specifications. It's not just a map, Dr. Foster announced triumphantly. It's architectural plans. He hid something else, and this tells us exactly where to find it and how it was built. Chapter 4. The Hidden Chamber. The coordinates led to a section of the factory floor that had been unchanged since the building's construction in the 1980s. Ground-penetrating radar confirmed what the decoded message suggested. There was indeed a void beneath the concrete. Musk insisted on being present as the excavation team carefully removed the concrete slab. What they uncovered was a small underground chamber, barely large enough for a person to crawl into. The space was lined with plastic sheeting and contained a single metal box. I remember this now, Musk said, kneeling beside the opening. I convinced my father to let me help with some electrical work here when I was young. I must have created this hiding place then. The metal box was surprisingly heavy for its size. Inside, wrapped in multiple layers of protective material, was a device unlike anything the Tesla engineers had ever seen. It appeared to be electronic, with components that looked primitive yet somehow advanced for their time. The device consisted of a central processing unit connected to various sensors and what appeared to be a small antenna array. Handwritten notes, in the same careful script as the letter, were taped to various components explaining their functions. It's some kind of detection system, observed Dr. Lisa Park, Tesla's chief technology officer. But I can't determine what it's designed to detect. Chapter 5. The Truth Revealed. The global media attention had reached fever pitch. News crews from every major network surrounded the Tesla facility, all demanding answers about the mysterious device and its connection to young Musk's prediction about protecting humanity in 2030. Musk himself had remained largely silent, spending hours studying the device and the accompanying notes. His childhood engineering project had somehow anticipated technologies that wouldn't be invented for decades. Finally, Tesla organized a press conference. Hundreds of reporters packed into the factory's main assembly hall, cameras focused on the podium where Musk would address the world's questions. He approached the microphone with measured steps, the weight of global attention evident in his posture. For a long moment, he simply stood there, looking out at the assembled crowd, then down at the device that sat on a table beside him. When I was 12 years old, he began, I had dreams that seemed impossible to most people. But I also had fears fears about things that might threaten our future as a species. He paused, his hand hovering over the primitive device. This machine was my attempt to prepare for something I couldn't fully understand at the time. Something I'm still working to prevent. The room buzzed with anticipation, every reporter leaning forward, waiting for the revelation that would explain everything. Musk looked directly into the cameras, his expression serious but determined. The details of what this device was designed to detect, and why I believed in 2030 we would need protection, must remain classified for now. What I can tell you is this. The work we're doing at Tesla, at SpaceX, at Neuralink, it's all connected to ensuring humanity's survival and prosperity. He stepped back from the podium, leaving the crowd of reporters shouting questions that would go unanswered. The time isn't right yet, he said quietly, almost to himself, as he carefully placed the device back in its protective case. But when 2030 comes, humanity will be ready. The mystery remained unsolved, but one thing was clear. The 12-year-old boy who had hidden his dreams and fears in a factory wall had grown into a man determined to turn both into reality, protecting the future he had somehow foreseen decades ago.